welcome to Geeks and Drinks. I'm Jason,
Jordan.
and we have a ton of gaming news to talk about this time around because of obviously E3 just finished today. It's not going to be the only thing we're talking about today, but before we get to any of the news like usual, you got a new tiki drink for us to try out today. Yes.
The Frankenstein.
So right off the bat, I actually really like the Frankenstein tiki mug. You're going to do that every episode, aren't you?
You can thank Jess for buying me all the sweet mugs.
I'm fine with that.
How glorious it is.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
I don't know why he has his hands up like this, like a 1960s cartoon female who just saw a rat. Like he looks like he's saying "eek."
Yes, maybe they need to do something for the tiki-ness of it itself. I'm not sure what he was doing. Yeah. Yes, I know you need to, stare at me awkwardly while you are.
I need to make sure he's staring at you. Yeah.
Yes. But I'm fine with that because with every tiki mug you get, you're making another drink. So
yeah.
I'm good with this one. What is in this one this time?
There is lime juice, dry curacao, lemon juice, and simple syrup, Hendrick's gin, and what am I forgetting? Oh, Midori.
Midori, yeah.
And then top with seltzer.
So it makes this like lime greenish looking, almost like a margarita.
I mixed a gimlet and an electric lemonade.
Oh, that's so good. The gin cuts through just enough to have that nice taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
The citrus blends work very well with it.
Well, also that helps the fact that I don't do things half-assed. So technically, an electric lemonade is supposed to have sweet and sour.
Right.
You know what sweet and sour is?
Sugar.
Equal parts lemon juice and simple syrup.
So you decided just to add those yourself into it?
I just do half and half.
But isn't like the pre-mix
It's usually more sugar.
Yeah, exactly. So this way works a little better at that point. You have more control.
And plus, some of them, most sweet and sours, they're like a combination of lemon and lime.
Right.
Depending on which one you go with.
Right. And this one you have more control over it too, like what tastes better. If you want a little more lemon or lime.
I like the tart behind it.
I always love the tart behind these type of drinks, but it's still very refreshing though.
Well, Jess, I think, liked the bride more, but that'll be next time.
That'll be for next time at that point. Before we get into our E3 news, let's have some conversation starters.
Well, reviews.
Yeah, it's just reviews this time around, so let's get to it. We have 3 to talk about. First off is Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Luckily,
finally
we all
came
got
out
to go see it, and we got to trick Jess and my mom into go seeing it because it was my birthday.
Got to use that to your advantage.
Well, it's like we want to do. We can go see a movie, and it's like, oh, we can go see Aladdin, or we can go see Godzilla. It's like, we know which one I'm gonna pick.
Good choice. Very good choice.
Well, for us, yes, they hated it.
That is true. I mean, we wanted more fights between, giant monsters.
Yeah, we just want giant kaiju fights.
And for the most part, we got that in this.
I mean, they left out the goodest of kaijus, Clifford the Big Red Dog.
That's all over the internet now at this point. I mean, he does fit the description of a kaiju, so.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, going back to Godzilla, but I mean, you saw Godzilla fight Ghidorah 3 times. You saw Ghidorah fight Rodan. You saw Rodan fight Mothra. And I think technically at one point, Mothra tried to fight Ghidorah, and it just kind of ended terribly.
It ended very fast. Rodan versus the U.S. government, I guess it was, with the fighter jets.
Well, they weren't the U.S. government.
Well, the fighter jets, where were they from then? Was that not from Monarch? Was it from Monarch? They have their own private army?
Remember that was the whole argument in the beginning. The government was wanting to take control of everything Monarch does, and Monarch's like, no, fuck off.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember, that's why Vera Farmiga, the bitch from Conjuring, she got all super bitchy.
I mean,
whatever.
The story of this is you're not going for the story. It's a very basic thing, but it actually kind of ties in pretty well with the other classic Godzilla stories in terms of the theme of nature and humanity destroying it, and we got to do things drastic to try to fix it, and these are the consequences of dealing with stuff like this. I mean, the original Godzilla was brought out because humanity harnessed the power of the atom and kind of fucked things up.
But I mean, like this one, you was kind of all over the place. And it's like, look, most Godzilla movies have human element to justify kaiju fights. This one had human elements to justify story. It's like, look, we have these giant fights, and we're gonna have human shit just so it makes sense. And like if without the giant fights, that 2-hour movie would have probably been like 35 minutes.
Easily. But all we would have seen is let them fight. That would have been fine with all of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. And Bradley Whitford being awesome.
Bradley Whitford is being Bradley Whitford. He probably just stumbled onto set with a flask and was like, "Oh, you're perfect for this role." Okay.
For all we know, that wasn't a prop. That could have been his actual flask.
Kind of like with Robert Downey Jr. hiding food.
All the snacks from the Marvel movies.
Right.
Maybe.
But in this one, he's just like, I needed this to get it through the day, so let's just go with this.
I mean, he'll always be West Wing to me, but
This is true.
God, I hate the fact that he was awesome in that. Okay? That shit ruined my childhood. Jess can attest to this. One of my favorite movies growing up used to be Billy Madison.
Oh, so having...
And then eventually when I saw West Wing, I'm like, oh, no, I like you. And then I tried to go back and watch Billy Madison. I'm like,
You really couldn't.
Adam Sandler, you don't deserve the company. But anyways,
Yeah, sorry. tangent.
Godzilla was rad. If you like giant monster fights and don't give a shit about anything else, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I almost kind of wish you would have seen it in IMAX, like, appropriately.
Yeah. Well, it'll be open. It'll be in theaters for another couple of weeks, so we'll see what happens with that. If we get to it, cool. If not, we'll buy it on digital or Blu-ray when it comes out.
We'll buy it on Blu-ray and then go second grade style and just sit next to the TV this close, so
There
it's
you-
like it's that large.
There you go. I like it.
Except when we turn the TV off, we won't have that sweet warm glow before it eventually does shut
Or
down. Those little
the
sweet
light
CRTs.
hum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have to put that bitch on channel 3 to watch anything.
Oh, old times. Yes, back when channels had to decide what you actually had to. Anyway, we're not gonna go into that.
Oh yeah, remember this SNES had a little toggle on the back. It was like channel 2 or channel 3.
Mm-hmm. And no, I've never met anybody who was able to use it on channel 2.
You know why?
Why?
We live in Southern California. Channel 2 is being utilized.
Fair enough. All right, next up we're reviewing Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This came out about a few weeks ago. It came out over a month ago on digital. We bought it on Blu-ray, which came with the digital, so we just waited a little bit.
You bought it technically I think day of when like the physical copy came out.
Posted it right online, and we're like, we're gonna watch this. Cool.
I had to wait a week. Forgot the limitations of PS4. And then eventually we just handed over the disc, and I've seen it like 4 times now.
It's a solid movie. There's a reason why it's been out for about a month now, and on Rotten Tomatoes,
100%.
It's still at 100%. This was born out of a comic series of the same name, going through basically Ninja Turtles are trying to follow Shredder, who's apparently trying to disrupt Gotham.
Well, that's what
for some
Ra's
reason,
al Ghul
and
does.
that's how you get Batman and the Turtles together, and they actually start fighting each other initially, and then they turn out to be,
They realize they're on the same side.
right. It's gonna be zany, it's gonna be ridiculous, but it's so much fun.
Oh no! Again, 4 times, Jason.
Yeah, and you haven't gotten bored of it once at that point. And every time you're trying to watch it with someone else, or you're just watching yourself.
Like once or twice a year, there's like one movie that becomes one of those movies I can watch so many times and I don't really get bored of it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Parks and Rec. I just keep watching it over and over again for some reason.
As you should.
But that's this movie. I think that's probably the one so far this year. It's the only movie I've seen more than once, and it's like, yep, I'm gonna keep watching it.
The story's good. The jokes hit really, really solid. The casting was great. Troy Baker is amazing as always.
He's
as
imitation
Batman
Mark Hamill.
and the Joker.
I don't remember who wait, so he was Batman too?
He was Batman too. Yeah, he's both parts.
Because again, he just sounds like imitation Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy.
Yes, that's probably why they brought him on for, because he's probably a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Than going that path.
Well, no, Mark Hamill said he was done being the Joker.
He has, but he said that before. We'll see what happens with that.
He's getting that Rise of the Skywalker money, okay? I was going to say Child's Play, but chances are he probably didn't give a shit about that.
He probably did it at that point.
Although in an interview, he came out and said he's like, dude, I was just as worried for this as I was when I first became the Joker.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll see what happens with all that. Anyways, yeah, Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You haven't seen it. Fucking do it.
Yeah, go watch this.
Donatello is the best turtle.
Yes, he is. We'll agree on that.
He even went for the ginger the entire time. Did you not notice?
That's
him
true.
And Batgirl
They paired up very quickly.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right, the last thing we're going to be talking about is a 6-part Amazon miniseries called Good Omens, based on the graphic novel of the same name by Neil Gaiman. Basically, it has a demon.
And Terry Pratchett.
Yes, Terry Pratchett too. It basically follows the exploits of a demon and an angel throughout human history.
Well, yeah, the whole premise of the story is them working together to prevent the end of the world.
Yes. in their own way that they kind of also helped start, but we won't dive into it.
No,
It
not really
stars
start.
Michael Sheen and David Tennant,
Hmm.
and they that's perfect casting for these characters. It's only 6 episodes long. Each episode's about an hour long, but I thoroughly enjoyed every single one of them. There wasn't a point where I was like looking at my watch, like, how long longer is this?
I watched the first 2 episodes like once or twice, because once on my own and then once with Drea.
Right.
Um, but it worked out because it kind of bothered me because how they kept pronouncing Crowley.
Because you're so used to
Crowley.
Crowley, yeah, from
Yeah.
Supernatural. Yeah, that makes sense. But it grew on me fairly quickly, though. Just David Tennant walking around with that. He had a swagger from
Oh, he
scene
did.
1.
Or more specifically, it was kind of awesome when the fact that he always had Queen playing in his
In his car.
in his Bentley. 90 years, never had so much as a scratch.
Which it's the car actually had a TARDIS reference on it.
Did it?
Its license plate was TARDIS backwards. Sid Rat.
Well, they came out already, and there's like, look, this is gonna have a lot of Doctor Who references.
Mm-hmm. And he played up every single one of them, and it worked out really well. Most of the jokes worked really well. I do have to say though, even though Michael Sheen and David Tennant were amazing as I always forget the angel's name. Aziraphale. Aziraphale and Crowley. When they weren't on screen, one or both of them were on screen, the side characters kind of fell a little flat for me.
No.
For me, they didn't really carry the scene as much as those two would.
Well, they're the draw. Like they're supposed to be the thing. Like they are technically the main characters.
Yes, they are. But you got to make sure you have a supporting cast that can carry their own scenes with them. But it kind of fell flat in some areas for me.
Nah.
Like the whole thing with the witch hunters and whatnot. That.
Oh, what's his face and his finger? I'm like, yeah, you can go away.
Yeah, I didn't need all of that. I didn't need.
But all the other stuff worked for me though. Like that was the only part where I'm like, oh.
Like the kids worked for me.
Yeah.
How they worked with all of that. There were just other aspects that I just wished
Fell short.
they were more complete.
Made you wanting.
Yes.
Like, look, it's not bad, but it's Kick cereal.
I like Kick cereal.
It's the hand job of cereals.
I wouldn't go that far.
Like, it's good and it gets the job done.
Right.
Not quite there.
All right, fair enough.
It's no Count Chocula.
But with that being said, solid series from beginning to end. Absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to hopefully see more. You're gonna keep on doing it until I acknowledge that. Fuck you. Highly recommended.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, even if you've never read the graphic novel, you kind of don't have to enjoy this. But you can always go back and read it
From
though.
what I'm told, like if you've read it before, after, whatever, you're just gonna catch certain things that you liked, or where you're like certain little nods.
I did like the fact that they kept the whole fact that God has an ineffable plan.
Yeah.
The entirety of it. That was a bit that happened throughout the comic itself. And then I love the fact that even in some reviews, they actually kept that in there. So that was showing to me that, okay, at least you know a little bit regarding the source material.
Wait, not
itself.
even John Hamm? You didn't think John Hamm did a good enough job?
I think John Hamm did a fine job for his
I mean,
position.
it was fucking with me because I'm used to like supernatural lore.
Right.
Where I'm like, wait, Gabriel's the one that's wanting more? Gabriel's the one who didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Nah.
He was happy with porn stars in South America.
And now he's an angel.
Now he's John Hamm and wanting to do shit. Not my Gabriel. My Gabriel's the trickster, and it's also Loki.
This is not hashtag not my Gabriel. Don't ever do that again. Oh, horrible.
I have to.
But yeah, everything we've talked about, Godzilla, Batman vs. Ninja Turtles, and Good Omens are all highly recommended. Please go check these out. Go support
it's kind
them.
of the beginning of the summer season.
Yes. I mean, yes, there's going to be reports out there that Godzilla King of Monsters tanked. But it underperformed compared to what people were hoping for it to be. but by no means a complete flop.
No, it made
like
money technically already,
like
no?
X-Men. We'll get to X-Men in a little bit.
No, we can. It tanked. It sucked. Sorry, Sophie Turner, you're kind of attractive, and I still want to know how you go from like Michael Fassbender. 9 years later, you get Ian McKellen. Okay, somewhere you guys need to figure out your goddamn timelines. Like they need to work on their aging a bit.
Maybe
You know, even James McAvoy to Patrick Stewart, which in all fairness, 9 years, it's possible. We don't know what's going to happen to James McAvoy. Because Patrick Stewart just somehow got all his aging done and out of the way.
That's true. He never has aged.
I mean, they legitimately could have just had Patrick Stewart show up again. And it wouldn't have changed a damn... Like, just replace James McAvoy entirely.
I do have to
because that was a mention in Last Stand. Remember Last Stand, Hole does a little thing when they go visit Jean Grey for the first time, and they are together. So, you know, which timeline? McAvoy or Stewart? Movie sucked. I mean, we didn't see it. It just looked like shit.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird the only person to get the Phoenix Saga right was the fucking cartoon from the 90s? The first one to do it?
That one...
We'll talk about that later. I think that was something I mentioned.
That is in the article.
E3!
Yes, let's talk about E3, the Electronics Entertainment Expo. No one calls it that. It's just E3. Big video game convention takes place usually mid-June at the LA Convention Center. And usually for the past 25 years, almost every major video game developer, publisher, console manufacturer always shows up to showcase their latest and greatest for the year. And for a long period of time, this is where...
for a long period of time, except like 5 years ago when Nintendo's like, nah, I'm good.
For the first 15, 20 years, this was the place to go for people to make those deals with the retailers, what they're going to be ordering for the holiday season, what they're going to be promoting.
Well, yeah, it wasn't really open to the public.
It hasn't been open to the public until like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And even then, you're paying like, if you were one of the first 300 people, you get it for $150. If not, it was what, $300? $400? Yeah, something ridiculous.
I didn't care enough to go. Like, I felt bad. Actually, take that back. I almost went, like 6 years ago. Jim Rivers, he invited me to go.
I've had the pleasure of actually going to E3 several times. Back when I worked at GameStop, and that was when they were actually allowing employees of retailers who actually sold video games to get a select number of passes to go for like a day or two.
That's cool. That would make sense. You have to see that shit so you can sell it when it comes in.
Exactly. So I was hyped to go there and see the giant spectacle. Afterwards, when I was working for an Anime Expo, I got tickets and press passes to go through there and go behind the scenes as well.
Oh, rad.
And so that was incredible. This was right about the tail end of the heyday where it was kind of
But I hope you know, when people mention anime, like I fucking name drop you constantly.
That's fine.
I was told this about anime. Really? I was told this. What? By who? Brother-in-law Jason? Works for AX. Dude knows way too much about anime.
I won't say too much, but... Well, maybe I should.
You know more than the average person, more than the occasional aficionado or expert, but just enough to you're not a complete waste of life. Like, you're not quite at, like, full-blown weeb.
I got
like
married.
obnoxious.
That should be good enough
Yeah,
at that point.
You immediately disqualify for that. Sorry,
That's true.
You got married to a woman and not your Dakimakita.
Well, you know, I had options.
You can hold a conversation and make eye contact.
Well, you just have to drink out of your fucking mug and stare at
buddy.
me. Yeah. But I remember when I started going, it was at the tail end of the heyday of, like, you almost consider it like Vegas style conventions where you had booth babes aplenty everywhere, and it wasn't even at that point really not much about the games. It was more about the spectacle of the booths themselves, where you have Tecmo showing up to,
because you had to have that like Vegas showmanship.
But it kind of got a little, out of place when you get like, I was there for Tecmo when they were showcasing Dead or Alive.
Are they even still a thing?
Yes, they are. Dead or Alive, I think it was Extreme Beach Volleyball, the first one. On their giant stage, they had like a good 40 girls in the swimsuits from the outfit, just there parading, taking pictures for the press and whatnot.
The game is the worst.
It is pretty bad, yes. But it's good for Schadenfreude.
Their gambling system's fucking rigged.
Of course it's rigged. But
remember, I kept bidding on Black 13 constantly and nothing. And I went broke, and it's like, finally, I'll stop bidding on Black 13. Next one that shows up, Black 13. I'm like, you son of a... Go back. That was in an episode we did.
That was a long time ago. Anyways, But stuff like that where they focus more on the spectacle than the games themselves.
Mhm.
They have since toned down from that, and then for 1 year, they tried to turn around and actually try to do away with booths altogether, to where every company, no matter how big or small you had one table or one stand that was enough for like two monitors and a console, and you could just and a
This
one
already
8.5 by
sounds god awful.
This was less than 5 years ago. They went away from for 1 year they went away from LA and they went to Atlanta, and that sucked. So when they came back, they went, we want to go smaller to make sure everyone has an equal footing. So they went to Santa Monica. Xbox, for their press conference that year, rented out a high school football field and built it out there because they wanted to still have their spectacle. But through that new E3,
Yeah, this
they
just
couldn't do anything.
sounds terrible.
It lasted not even a year, because before that E3 was over, they're like, no, we're going back to the original format. We're going back to LA. You have the
We're
giant booth.
so sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it was horrible. But
Goofy Pig, I'm sorry. Maybe I could change.
yeah. So, but even nowadays, you have still a bunch of booths, a bunch of indie developers, big name publishers, and of course the big two. We'll get to the third one in a moment. Having their giant booths showcasing their latest and greatest for the next year. Sony decided this year to say, you know what? We've been doing this for 25 years. We don't need to do it. We want to do the Blizzard thing. Activision Blizzard used to be huge at E3. And they thought, you know what? Let's pull back from that and let's make our own convention. Let's make BlizzCon. And it's worked well for them. So Sony says,
BlizzCon, yeah.
so Sony thinks, excuse me, Sony thinks they can do the same. So they start the PlayStation Experience, which is to be a weekend-long event somewhere in the country, usually like in New York or LA, where they just focus on their stuff. They basically take their E3 press conference and expand it out for a weekend.
Whatever their big dick wag was going to be this weekend.
Yeah.
So
So
instead, they just
they're gonna do their own thing, I guess.
draw it out.
I don't know. I don't foresee Microsoft or Nintendo ever leaving. Microsoft already has their own event outside of E3. They're called XO.
I mean, Nintendo already kind of does.
Yes.
But I mean, again, let's be honest. Nintendo can just show up, let out a giant queef, throw their hands in the air like this, and everyone's going to lose their shit.
Yes.
Sorry. Let out a giant queef and just go, Smash Bros. And then walk off stage. Everyone's like, breathtaking.
Yes. A few years back, they stopped doing the press conferences so they can do the directs, which basically pre-recorded video presentations, which actually works well because they do those several times a year to get a little more information throughout the year.
We discussed this yesterday.
Mhm.
The whole format of E3, kind of in itself outdated.
Yes.
Just because you could do the same thing without having to spend as much money having this big press conference.
Right.
And just be like, I'm going to release this on Twitter.
Mhm.
I'm going to make a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun.
Yeah. That's why I like Devolver. Devolver Digital, a publisher of many top quality indie games, a couple which you actually played today. Katana Zero and Ape Out are actually published by
Like
Devolver
a couple
Digital.
games you played today. The games I played today.
Yeah, I know.
You make it seem like I played like a whole horde of them.
Well, we're going to get to that, but we ran out of time. But they're a lot of fun.
Juice limes and lemons.
I know.
Can't buy that store-bought shit. It's not good.
No, it really is not. Just take the time, guys.
I know, I usually do. I'm usually the one who does all the drinks.
Well, you are a resident mixologist. Better than saying local resident alcoholic, but you know.
It's an alcoholic with a hobby.
Yes. But with Devolver, I love the fact that they've always been like anti-E3. For a few years, they would actually rent the parking lot opposite the convention center and just do a giant tent there, and that'd be their E3.
Oh.
Until, you know, that course got bought up by major real estate agents, and now there's giant fucking high rises there. So a few years ago, they decided to go, you know what? We need to do our own press conference. But we hate E3 and press conferences. So we're just going to make our own parody of one. And it was only 15 minutes long. They did it 2 years ago, and it was fucking hilarious.
Okay.
It was borderline, not Rick and Morty, but Tim and Eric style
That's
comedy.
unfortunate.
Yes. But it got tons of praise. So they came back last year, did another one, and it was still pretty good. This year, they decided they wanted to make fun of the Nintendo Directs, so they did their own video style presentation.
Okay.
But they're always parodying E3 itself because they're like, it costs way too much money to do this here when we can just do a video and sell you guys the games directly and, make more money.
Well, I mean, they're
indie developers.
Yeah,
I mean,
indie developers. Their whole thing is, make the how can I cut cost anywhere I can so I can release a cheaper game.
but Devolver's one of those few publishers who's gotten to the point that they have enough of a cult status that they can do kind of one-off things. So, for example, one of their top-selling games right now is called Enter the Gungeon. It's actually a fantastic indie game. They announced that they wanted to produce something different, something new for you. So they announced an arcade version of the game, which you can buy for $5,000. It's an actual arcade. They modified it so it actually works with an arcade machine. Comes with the 2 light guns and everything, and they'll ship it to your house. It's like the one-off things that'll give themselves a lot of press, and a few people will actually buy it.
I'd rather spend the $350 for the Turtles one, which
Yeah.
we'll discuss later.
Yes, we will. But it's little one-off things like that. So, but that's enough about the history of E3 and my thoughts about it. Let's get to what they talked about this year, which honestly wasn't much compared to previous years. We're gonna go down through the presentations, not in any order, but just gonna hit up some of the highlights of it. We're not gonna try to touch every single game or announcement out there because that's kind of pointless. You guys have probably read most of it. We just want to give our quick takes on some of this stuff.
Or you just don't care, like I did.
Yeah. So I'll go through these, and you'll probably have a couple surprises on it.
No, I mean literally go down the list. Because I'm looking at this, I'm like, all right, I heard about that. Yeah, I knew about that. Still didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Let's talk about because
Just start in the beginning.
Yeah.
Work your way down.
because Sony wasn't there this year. I had to laugh at their booth area. I'm guessing E3 was trying to hold out and seeing if Sony will blink first and say, "Oh yeah, guys, yeah, we'll actually be there," because they didn't sell their booth area, their giant booth area. So instead, when Sony
There was
officially
a 90-pound Asian man just walking around like this.
no,
Well, that would be good.
they just threw down carpet, put a bar, and a couple couches.
We can be like a bar.
They just put a bar in the middle of it for people can come by, like one of those convention center bars. But it was a cash bar.
Like walk up and get a cocktail?
Yeah.
Oh, word.
So that giant open area was just couches and a bar.
Respect, Sony.
That wasn't something that was E3.
Oh, so because like they just like I'm not even gonna show up and do
Sony
anything.
has always had the same booth space
Yeah.
every year. So E3 held out on selling that area in hopes that they would come back, or the last moment Sony would go, "Oh yeah, we'll actually be at E3. Where's our booth space?" But when Sony didn't blink and actually confirmed they were not going to be there, E3 was like, "What the fuck are we going to do with this space?" Well, it's already too late to sell it to other vendors. Oh, well, we'll fuck it, just do something. Just put a bar in there and some couches and call it a day.
Is it wrong? It's like had I had known that, it would have been like E3. Just hire me. I'll go be a bartender.
Yeah.
Just give me money to supply the booze, and I'll just do it.
Yeah.
'Cause I could probably make more on tips than they
Yeah, that's
just
true.
afford that shit.
But it's the LA Convention Center, so it's Union and Cisco, I think, has a deal and all that fun stuff.
That's fair. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Let's start with because
Square
Sony
Enix.
wasn't there doing their presentation. Square Enix took that spot. Going over just a couple things they talked about. First off, they had more details about Final Fantasy VII remake
which they announced years ago.
4 or 5 years ago. They came out actually with some gameplay footage this time around. They had like the producer and the director come in and talk real quick.
But again, they've been announcing that shit for years.
I know. Only details they
Like, at
brought
what
out
point
was
do you
like,
just not give a shit.
well, look at Kingdom Hearts.
At least with Kingdom Hearts, they're like, all right, here's some more details. Here's some more details.
And that's what we kind of got with this one. We have a release date, March 3rd, 2020. They're claiming there's enough content to fill 2 Blu-ray discs, which is misleading because they already said that this is going to be episodic. So March 3rd is only the first chapter. Who knows when the next chapter is
Good.
going to come out after that?
Means they can actually make the game they wanted to make.
Yeah?
Aerith won't die.
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
Um,
Everyone knows Tifa's best girl.
yes, very true. There was also news of Marvel's Avengers. Crystal Dynamics announced this like 5 years ago.
Was
It was like 4 or 5 years ago where they announced they had the license to move forward and actually create an Avengers game.
Because maybe it was rumored that it was going to happen, And then they released that one like 10-second trailer of just looking at their weapons that was shiny.
Yeah, that was like 2014, 2015.
Oh, it seemed like only 2-3 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we haven't heard jack shit since then, at that point. So when they finally come out and say, not only do we have video footage for you, but we also have gameplay, and there's a demo playable at E3. It's gotten mixed reactions by people who have played it and the people who have just viewed the trailers online. Mainly because a lot of people look at this and go, that's not Robert Downey Jr., that's not Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I've seen those. Where it's like, yeah, this is the Marvel's Avengers. This isn't the movie. This is
You
the
fool,
MCU.
you captured their stunt doubles kind of thing. I'm fine with this. There's so many different variants of these characters throughout media that it's not going to be just the MCU versions, even though a lot of people nowadays are just
That's what we're used to.
tuned into the MCU. You think everything has to be that. This is completely standalone. This is a brand new story. So,
yeah, it's got Taskmaster.
Yeah, that's
everyone's
big
favorite sea villain.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how they hype him up, if at all.
I mean, the trailer shows you fucking Taskmaster and Abomination.
I have to say though, I read some reviews from people who actually played the demo at E3, and like we have some concerns. There's a lot of duplication of the move sets, like things that Captain America does, the exact same moveset that Thor does without his hammer. Same thing that Scarlett Johansson does. Like it's only like a skin, and they haven't
Black
done much.
Widow,
to it.
right? Not Scarlett Johansson.
It's Scarlett Johansson.
Goddammit!
Goddammit!
You just said you were bitching
Scarlett
about people weren't able to get over it.
Fine, Black Widow. It is not as in depth as people were hoping. It's not as impressive as people were expecting. But the problem is when you have a franchise this large and it's how huge it has gotten worldwide, and you come out with this probably would have been adequate a few years ago.
So you're wondering if it suffered from overworking fatigue?
Yes.
Like they spent so much time working on it, where it's like, oh, and you announced it, it's no longer worth the hype anymore.
Yeah, it's too little, too late. So that's a bit what we had at
had man face in that photo you showed.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Xbox. They're supposed to be one of the big two, since Sony's wasn't there this year.
One of the big two. They're the only ones still trying.
Agree to disagree.
Who else?
Nintendo.
Nintendo doesn't try.
Nintendo has enough games and fans out there to basically create whatever they want. And for the most part, they're pretty spot on all the more entertaining stuff out there.
But again, Nintendo doesn't try.
Yeah, they do.
They have their booth. We're like, hey, do you guys want to see some of the shit we've been working on?
It's a very incredible booth.
And I don't sass that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like, they found their formula and they stick with it.
Yes.
It's not like I'm assuming Xbox, who probably scrambles around, is like, how can I make people give a shit about me without mentioning Halo?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, no, wait. Sorry, I have to mention Halo again.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. You're spilling over yourself.
Only a little bit of little shot.
I don't want to hear what you shaking something and talking about a little shot.
Look, Xbox has not been anything actually relevant. Like
For us, no.
If you think about the most recent console war,
Yeah, they lost that one.
it wasn't even fucking close.
I agree.
Most people I know who bought an Xbox, they bought an Xbox because they had a 360.
Yes.
Or they bought an Xbox because someone gave it to them at a much discounted price.
This is true.
Or they got it as a gift.
This is true.
Most gamers I know weren't like, yeah, man, I bought an Xbox. You did what?
And
yeah, you don't hear those words from a gamer. I bought an Xbox.
I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who will disagree with you, but I agree with you for the most part. That Xbox this generation did not do anywhere near as well as they should have, as they needed to. But the problem is with things that they are nowadays, I can't imagine them catching up to Sony at all with the PS5 and its slate of games. Because at this point,
they're losing the war of exclusives.
Yes. So, but let's talk about what they tried to promote.
In the land of consoles, game is king.
Yeah, that's true. Microsoft's been trying to slowly change that by acquiring a boatload of game studios in order for them to make games exclusively for their consoles
How's
and
that
for
working?
PC. As of right now, I'm sure they're saying they're in the development year.
Yeah, say
They're building.
you sound like that asshole like me right now with like the LA Kings. It's a building year.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way I can describe what Microsoft is doing right now. They bought several companies. Last year, they announced they acquired Rare to create games for them.
They bought Rare a while ago now.
Was it last year or the year before?
I want to say the year before. 'Cause
Okay,
that
the
was
year
a
before.
while ago.
Okay.
Because yeah, that was in the 360 years.
Okay.
Remember? Because that's when we got Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
That's right.
And Conquer
Okay.
or something or other.
True.
I mean, it wasn't Bad Fur Day or any continuation of that. It was like a spin-off where they just took the one level from Conquer's Bad Fur Day and
Yeah, exactly. This year they did announce they acquired Double Fine Productions, who is most famously known for making games like Psychonauts. The sequel,
you were hyped for that, yeah. I remember.
the sequel comes out, and I think it's exclusive to Xbox now. So, oh well. That Xbox One over there has been sitting there for over a year doing nothing. So, but let's talk about some of the games real quick. Ninja Theory has a new a third-person melee game that they want to get people to get away from Overwatch, which won't happen. It's 4-on-4, random characters, zany colors, wild action, so they say. I wasn't really impressed.
Yeah, but it's a whole bunch of weeb shit.
Yeah. It's
There's literally what looks like a black dude and the Joker had a baby and then played the game Jet Set Radio.
Mm-hmm. They're kind of going for that vibe, basically. I think one reviewer tried to say it was like Fortnite mixed with Splatoon or something like that. You wouldn't get that other half reference because it's a Nintendo only game.
Which one?
Splatoon.
Bitch, I know what Splatoon is.
All right.
It was one of the games I had like convinced Jess, or not really I convinced Jess, she wanted to get that game for you.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is Splatoon? I'm like, it's Japanese Bukkake, the game. Like that's their big first-person shooter game.
So
That's
much fun,
supposedly a lot of fun.
It was so much fun.
Nintendo found a way to make FPSs their thing, and it worked.
Yes, it did. Yeah. I never said you didn't. There was another game coming out from Software called Elden Ring, and the reason this one's getting everyone hyped up is because they teamed up with George R.R. Martin to write the story for this one.
Well, that's the name of it. I remember most of the articles I read didn't even mention the name of the fucking title.
Because it wasn't really announced until...
No. Even during E3. Like, oh yeah, George R.R. Martin's new game was released. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
How does horror show do on sci-fi?
Sure. There's a new...
Or how well did he do when he kept talking about Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
And then it turns out that went to shit, and he's like, sorry, mine's going to be way different.
Exactly. Let's just stop talking about that. There's also another Minecraft game, because reasons, called Minecraft Dungeons. It's basically take Diablo, mix in Minecraft graphics. There you go. You have Minecraft.
Unless
Dungeons.
they get a weird level where you fight giant cows. Pass.
They did announce the Game Pass Ultimate, which basically allows you to converge everything they've used before. The Xbox Live Gold, the Game Pass, which allows you to stream and download their games and whatnot. But now you can add it for PC, and you can get the first month for $1.
That's what Lauren did.
Yes, and everything you had already for Xbox Live, you can actually just transfer it over to this Ultimate Game Pass for PC. So, like our buddy Lauren did, he bought like 2 years at a discount for Xbox Live, and then once that went through, he just went on their website and said, "Here's $1," and now that's all for PC.
But I don't think he really plays PC games.
He just bought it because of the deal. You know that. The other big things.
The only man I know who will spend way too much money because it's a deal.
Yeah, no kidding. They showcased a new Battletoads game. Yeah.
Look, you know my rankings. There's the Turtles, there's the Street Sharks, and then Battletoads. The only thing Battletoads actually beat out is fucking Biker Mice from Mars.
Fair enough.
That should tell you something.
Yes, it does. A lot of people were hyped over Gears of War 5. I've only played the first one and kind of left it at that. So I don't know too much about it.
Oh, I forgot. I got in trouble recently because someone mentioned Battletoads in a group. And I looked over at Dre. I'm like, yeah, they had the original big titted goth girlfriend. What? Do you not? And I looked around the table and they all stared at me like I was a monster of some kind. I'm like, no, do you guys not remember Battletoads? Yeah, I love that game. Do you not remember the big bad guy, the final boss?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
You realize like her name was like something just like Evil Queen or some shit like that, and it was literally Elvira in a latex dress.
Essentially, yes.
And they're like, no, that's not a thing. Smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? You guys talked about how much you love this. Y'all make me sad.
Yeah. A lot of people were confused about this new horror game came out that's based on the Blair Witch franchise.
But why?
Yeah, that was basically the big question. A lot of people were, why? This doesn't make much sense.
Didn't they only made like 2 of those movies, right?
As far as I'm aware
And the
of.
last one came out like 15 years ago?
Yeah, so they decided to make now a horror survival game based on the franchise.
Another one?
But it's a video game.
Okay. Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight. Which I want to get now.
Yes, I know. The last things they were trying to tease their upcoming console for holiday 2020, codename Project Scarlet. They haven't given the name for what it's going to do. They just listed off a bunch of specs, what it could possibly do, and the only thing that they showcased for it was a pre-rendered gameplay, pre-rendered trailer for the launch title for the console, which is Halo Infinite. That's about it. The only thing out of this entire press conference that I actually thoroughly enjoyed was Cyberpunk 2077. Because I've been hyped about that game since they announced it last year. And then Keanu fucking Reeves showed up for that one. Cannot wait for that. As many people say, it was breathtaking.
No, you're breathtaking.
Let's talk about Nintendo.
The winner of E3?
I would agree. Nintendo is...
Almost every year.
I know. Almost every year, a lot of people are like, yeah, Nintendo kind of kicked everyone's asses at this point. Because they don't necessarily always focus on their hardware. They're just like, here is a bunch of awesome games we were working on.
Yeah.
And focus on that. For those Pokemon fans, they had a shitload of news about Pokemon Shield and Sword.
Corgi Pokemon.
Out. Yes, they had the Corgi Pokemon coming out. They had Luigi's Mansion 3.
Luigi.
Yeah, that one was weird, but
reasons.
I played the first Luigi's Mansion. I haven't played the second one, so
I didn't even know there was a second one until you told me.
Well, hence the name Luigi's Mansion 3.
Everything I saw just said Luigi's Mansion and showed a picture of Gooigi.
Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch.
You know what that means, don't you? We're this much closer to getting Goo Waluigi.
Looking forward to the important things, are we?
Yes.
All right.
Or a weird Bowsette version of Waluigi. Because that's the one thing we definitely don't fucking need.
For those Animal Crossing fans out there, they announced new details for Animal Crossing New Horizons, which basically looks like Animal Crossing on a tropical island, but for the Switch. They did push it back to next year. I think it was late March.
I'm still surprised those games are a thing.
They're fucking huge. They're all over the place.
Why. I mean, they also mentioned there was like a Harvest Moon game coming out.
Yes.
Which, when I was in I was in elementary school, the 64 one, a buddy of mine was like, "Oh, this game's amazing. What do you do?" I farm.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I talk to the villagers. What villagers?
And then
do
remember,
they give you anything? No, sometimes they just say really weird, cryptic things.
Yeah. I mean, it also culminated. Remember when Facebook just started getting big? Everyone was playing Farmville.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
I signed on, played for like 2 weeks just so I could pass up some friends of mine. They're like, "No, my farm's pretty great. There's no way you could beat me." Really?
You're just doing it for spite.
Yeah. Not that was a legit thing. Because I sat there with some graph paper and actually lined everything out where it's like, cool. If I'm playing right now and I'm home because I'm not working, I can plant, this plant, or this plant. No, that one doesn't work because it doesn't give me that much XP. That one actually gives me more XP than this one, but it gives me less of this other, it gives me less money. But XP is more important because it means that by then I can get this next plant that'll give me even more. Well, if I'm going to bed right now, if I get a solid 8 hours of sleep, I should do the 8-hour ones instead of the 4 hours. Yeah, it takes longer, but again, I'm sleeping. It doesn't matter. Go. Yeah. So out of spite, I was churning just constantly. After week 1, why the fuck do you have a mansion? Get on my level. I mean, granted, I did cheat a little bit because I created fake Facebook accounts.
Oh, out of the
Yeah.
friends and
On Facebook, I was friends with Steve Rogers, Peter Parker, Hank Pym, and Felicia Hardy, I think. Oh, and I think Wade Wilson and I think Harley Quinn or some shit like that. Like stupid shit.
just to get all the friend bonuses and
Oh,
everything.
just to beat the one friend. The worst part is my buddy Craig was like his mom kind of like, how did you get so good so fast? I need to beat my friends. Here's the names of my fake accounts. Here's the login information for all of them. I created a fake Yahoo account because that shit doesn't matter. All you need to do is just log in and add yourself. Friend bonus. What? My spite knows no bounds.
No shit.
Smash Bros.
Yay, Smash Brothers. So they announced a couple new characters. One was or a few, I should say, were the heroes and the characters from the upcoming Dragon Quest 11. I haven't played Dragon Quest in a while. I haven't.
Never played.
Okay, fair enough. But the one that a lot of people were hyped about, and justifiably so.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Mm.
Wash out that disgusting ass taste of ukulele.
Yeah, spiritual successor, my ass. But I have.
I'm sorry, what was that weird ass Mega Man one that was supposed to be good too?
Oh, Mighty Number 9. I paid full $20 for that.
I felt bamboozled.
Completely. Anyways, the fact that you have Banjo-Kazooie in Smash Brothers just leads me to hope and believe that we will
They're
actually
working
get...
with Microsoft.
Yes.
We can get a Banjo 3E.
I don't care if even it's a remastered version of the original.
Well, no, that was a joke that was running through Banjo 2E.
Mhm.
They're like, yeah, Banjo 3E? What the hell are we going to name this?
Yes. The Jiggies or something like that.
Well, the Jiggies was the name of the little puzzle pieces you got.
Right, but they were talking about the
Yeah.
one being calling about that, so. But yeah, so we'll
Or
have to see what
Grunty.
happens with all that.
Oh, Gruntilda.
Gruntilda. God. Witcher 3 is going to be on Switch in its entirety. I'm obviously going to have a graphical downgrade in order to do so, but the game has sold like gangbusters almost as much as, well, not nowhere near as much as Skyrim, but
Hey, man, what are you talking about? That easily looks better than that weird-ass version they have of Henry Cavill, or at least the screen test.
yeah, that screen test version. Yeah. They have a remake of Zelda's Link's Awakening, which came out in the original Game Boy. I remember playing that, the scene where he's on the beach, Zelda's on the beach.
You gotta get all the musical instruments to wake up the sky whale, Jason.
And the giant egg in the volcano.
Was I not supposed to remember all that shit?
No, you were. This version comes out in 3D isometric view. It looks fun. Everyone who has played it on and commented online about it said it's just exactly what you want from a Zelda game, and it's just a great bit of nostalgia, and it looks fantastic. And it comes out on my birthday, September 20th, 2019. Yay, birthday present.
Irrelevant.
Yay, birthday present to myself. We already talked about Luigi's Mansion 3.
Luigi.
Trials of Mana, I'm looking forward to because I played some of the original Mana games back on the...
Well, it's not even that.
Super
They're
NES.
releasing all of them. They're re-releasing Secret of Mana, and then they're releasing... I think Trials was the name of it. The sequel that was only released in Japan. There was like another one as well, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So those ones came out already. You can buy those on Switch right now.
Okay.
This new one is coming out next year, and I cannot wait for it. They're so much fun. This one came out of left field. I was not expecting this.
Yeah, neither was I.
There is, I think no one was really expecting this at all. The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics. This is going to be a strategy game with all the characters from the Dark Crystal, the upcoming sequel series on Netflix.
Look, unless I can kill that fucking horse. No, wait, that was Never Ending Story.
That was Never Ending Story.
Nope, never cared.
Oh, well.
Look, Jim Henson, he had a lot of hits and some equal as many misses for me.
Mm.
Really? You're just going to glance right over that?
No More Heroes 3?
Goddamn right.
Because it came out of the fucking blue. No More Heroes 2 just came out, I think, 6 or 8 months ago.
No, it's longer than that.
It must have been not that long. Because it was a quick turnaround, and then turn around and announce a sequel this fast.
No, Heroes 2 came out a while ago. I would say it was easily 5 years ago.
No, it can't. I've known to be wrong, but okay.
I mean, I could be wrong too. I mean, I Dude, I haven't owned a Nintendo console, like a real console,
Yeah, okay.
since the GameCube.
Oh, fair enough. But then at that point, you had the Wii, the Wii U, the Switch. So
Which you've owned all of them.
yes, I have. But yeah, No More Heroes 3 is coming out in 2020 for the Nintendo Switch. There's also a brand new Contra game coming out. Contra 3. Oh, that's something different. Sorry. Contra Rogue Core. It's an isometric. It's an isometric take on the series in 3D. But there's also the Contra Anniversary Collection, which includes 8 different Contra games.
No More Heroes 2, initial release date, January 26th, 2010.
There had to be another game since then. Anyways, okay, so I was completely wrong on that. All right, you were completely right.
There was a weird PS3 one that came out, though, apparently. Is that the one you were talking about?
No.
Heroes Paradise?
Maybe, yeah. Oh, well. I was wrong. You were right.
Wait, why am I celebrating? This is nothing new.
Go fuck yourself.
You know I have to.
No, you don't.
Hello, old friend. Ooh,
And
the
of course-
carpet tunnel setting in again. You heard that crap?
Yes, I did. And the big one that people were surprised about was the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The developers have already came out and stated that this is using it's going to be placed in the same Hyrule as Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Well, it's a straight fucking sequel.
Which, as we discussed, isn't really what Nintendo does with Zelda, or pretty much any of their other games for that matter.
I mean, granted, this isn't unprecedented. It's happened twice, as far as I can think back. And by that I mean like console sequels. Like we've seen weird ass sequels with where it's like, yeah, the original one was on the mainland console, and maybe you had one like on a Game Boy version that was like a sequel. Yeah, whatever. But as far as I know, the only time that's ever really happened is the original Legend of Zelda and Legend of Zelda 2. So, the fuck was it called? I mean, it was just called Zelda 2, whatever. And then at best, you had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yep.
Which even then, it strips you of everything, and it starts you off fresh, because you have to have that, like, speak of the devil, your Metroid Prime, where, you know, crash landing, you lost and forgot everything you did.
Know. Convenient plot point allows you to start from scratch.
Yeah. I mean, it's not unprecedented. It just seemed weird to me because that's not something they normally do. Which it's fun and exciting, because to me that means if Nintendo's doing this, yes, they're making a sequel on the same console, set in the same universe, same level of graphics. But that means they are gonna probably at the last second at some point give it the old dick twist, where you were gonna get something weird, like maybe they're gonna add fucking co-op, where you know it's you and Zelda doing dungeons together,
which is actually something a lot of people have been rumoring for, since in the trailer for the announcement trailer and whatnot, Zelda has short hair, so all people were like, she's no longer the what's it called?
Goddamn SJW.
The
damsel in distress.
Damsel in distress. So that now she has
was a
short
sexy
hair.
lampshade. Remember, there was that whole meme about staring at her ass.
That's true. So we'll have to see what happens with all of that.
Have learned nothing from Metal Gear.
Okay, so that was a ton of stuff to talk about E3. So let's get through some non-E3 news and our quick hits. A couple trailers came out. One was for
you can
Terminator.
talk about yours, and I'll talk about mine.
Frozen 2. It looked amazing. I cannot wait. It looks awesome. I'm gonna drag her ass to see it eventually.
Look, I mean, I probably will, because it has one of my favorite Disney princesses.
Anna. But
I
come
will
on.
not argue that.
Elsa already has a Patronus now.
Whatever the water seahorse
water horse thing. Yeah, I'm not
Whatever
sure
the
what
hell
the hell
that
that is. Maybe they're going the superhero route to have other people with powers, and
I'm hoping there's some kind of weird Avatar issue.
there's
It's
gonna.
like, oh, you're an ice and water bender? Oh, yeah? What do you know about Earth? But if it's like
fire.
seasonal, so it's like water has ice. So it's like she's bitch is winter, or you know, like fall is just like Earth.
We'll see.
Summer is fire.
We'll see this Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right.
Let's talk about yours.
Fucking Terminator. Get the return of Sarah Connor. Like
How
Jess and I, like we were already like, I remember I sent it to our group chat, and Jess went on some big tangents. Like, I don't care if it's not good, I'm gonna fucking see it. Okay, this is like Mission Impossible. I'm fucking in. I'm like, Jess, you realize I wasn't trying to fight you. I was literally like excited for this. Like I want to go see this, so clearly we're going. Cool. Linda Hamilton, you are not an attractive lady, but you are badass. Like honestly, like Linda Carter, or not Linda Carter, well Linda Carter too, but Linda Hamilton, is one of those things that always bothered me, because like when Wonder Woman came out, it's like yeah, finally, we have a strong female lead.
It's like, excuse me?
Sigourney Weaver is Ripley, or Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor. I mean, yeah, she started as a damsel in distress, and it was like, I will fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And literally,
it wasn't mainstream enough.
The trailer legit starts with her just unloading on like the new Terminator,
and then using a rocket launcher. Yeah.
And just doesn't even flinch, just resting bitch face the entire time. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, she was also Chuck's mom.
There you go. Some other news.
Her dad was Quantum Leap too, but whatever.
From DC Universe, the Swamp Thing TV series, which just had episode 2, I think, released.
Oh, it was canceled by episode 1.
Yeah, it was already canceled. And now AT&T, which is working on their new streaming service for all the WB stuff and whatnot, they say that they are now reevaluating what DC Universe will be in the future. It may be pulled into that, or they may cancel it altogether. Everybody wants to have their own streaming service.
Is that going to affect the Harley Quinn show?
Most likely, yes.
Fuck. I was actually looking forward to that.
Unless they pull it into the WB thing, which
I hate Kelly Coco, whatever her name is, Penny.
Yes.
But like the 2 trailers they released, it's like okay, this could be good. Because it looks like it's following more the Amanda Connor.
He's looking for that real quick.
Well, because there's 2 different names. I'm not sure if I was mixing them up. Yeah, Amanda Connor.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Palmiotti.
Mm-hmm.
This times. One.
Yes.
Like it's one of my favorite series. I'm really super sad I never kept buying them.
It's one of those situations where most likely anything they have planned in the works will probably get ported over if DC Universe folds to the new
Again, I told you it was going to happen, and it sucks. And I hope it doesn't affect your Doom Patrol.
Oh,
because you love that show.
I did, and the first season was amazing. If we get a second season, that'd be awesome.
But you know what I mean, though. Like I don't want a season 2 to be hindered on backwards bullshit.
Right.
If it's because no one watched it, yeah, that makes sense. Like fucking Firefly.
Yeah, very true.
Why did Firefly get fucked? Because Fox kept messing with it.
Because it was on Fox, yeah.
And no, Fox kept like airing episodes out of order and then changing which day episodes were on so no one could follow the goddamn thing.
Exactly.
So it bothered me. It's like, developed a cult following later because of streaming. No.
Because they were able to watch it.
Developed a cult following because people are able to watch the goddamn show and its intent.
Yeah, exactly.
But anywho, we'll see.
I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in the from E3 2019 that we did not cover, but you know what? There's so much stuff there.
We hit the high notes.
Oh, we really need to do at this point.
We talked about everything that Nintendo mentioned.
Yeah, fair enough. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out as always. I'm Jason.
Jordan.
Cheers, Internet.